What's going on, guys? We've got another episode of Scotch and Dumplings. Today I have the host of the Mostly Started podcast, the drummer for Kill Tony, and the drummer for the Baby Boys, Joel Jimenez.
Yeah, hell yeah. What's up, everybody? Thanks for listening. Well, I forgot to ask you, where are you calling from?
Thousand Oaks, California.
Damn. Oh,
So,
you're like fucking,
yeah.
yeah, nearby. That's crazy. I thought maybe you were like in some sort of Asian country based on your background,
What
you
made
know?
you think that?
Yeah. So I don't know, some people, I don't know, people are getting the fuck out of America. You might have moved to, Japan or China or Taiwan or any of those
Live from the
great.
rice paddy.
That's right. Damn, that sounds fun, actually. Damn. Not to get off topic, but I really want to go to Vietnam at some point. It looks like it's
It
fucking
does look like a lot of fun. Yeah.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, so the first question, I wanted to get into the whole podcast thing because obviously this is the first season of mine. What kind of like made you want to like start your own, and like how did you get that ball rolling?
I think I think initially the initial thing that really made me want to do it was I used to like when you hang out with friends or whatever and you're drinking or like whatever and you start talking sometimes it's so much fun you don't want it to end, and I was like, how can I usually my birthday is really the only time I can like force people to like stay longer than they want to. So
Yeah.
I was like, the initial idea was like, man, I would love to just like keep my friends hostage for like an hour and make them or whatever, make them like listen to me. So the want for like a good conversation with like my buddies who like, when the world goes to shit and you're depressed and stuff, it's like that stuff is those are the moments that we really love and that get us out of our mind and stuff. So I just wanted an excuse to do that. And then on the other bullshit side of it, like the business side of it, which matters, but it's like it was a way for me to try and like put myself out there like as my own sort of person and have people see my personality because they know me from all kinds of different things. But um yeah, I guess that doesn't really fall into the business. The hope is eventually to grow it enough where it does become some sort of thing like that. I would love to pay my bills and with that and be able to just do art and make stuff, for fun. But
Right.
that's more the motivation than like I want fame or I want money, was like to sit down and like talk to people about every time I'm on a show, like I have all these questions that I want to ask, but it's not my show, so I can't. So I was like, I'll just start my own, and then I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Basically,
Now you have
that's
the
it. To
platform
do
to
what
do
I
it.
want, to do whatever I want.
Exactly.
Is
And when you first started it, you were doing it out of your house.
Yeah, I'm still there. I mean, I'm still, yeah, it's moved around a bunch. I mean, when I first started it, I was doing it out of my girlfriend's like living room, and then because no one was there during the day, so whatever. And then as like this whole thing fucking happened, I ended up doing it at my place. So there's that, and then eventually Deary got us the okay to do it at the Improv. So now we can have guests and be safe and sort of keep our distance and stuff.
That's what I was going to ask because I just watched the one with you and Jesse, and you guys were talking about that it was at the Improv. And
Yeah.
is it cool to just like have like, is it weird to have like a venue with like no people and just kind of doing your own thing there?
No, I mean, well, for a podcast, it feels just like any other venue because, like, whatever, if you're gonna shoot a movie and you go to like a scene and you go to like some soundstage or something, it's usually on low budget shit. It's like
That's
me and
true.
whoever's shooting, so
Yeah.
that feels normal. Kill Tony feels different because that was a live show, so that's different. But no, I like it, dude. It's fucking awesome. That club is great, and now I did a bunch of like solo episodes, so now it's cool because I get to finally like actually live the initial idea of the show, and people seem to be really like receptive of the new one. So, and I have Jeremiah on today, like in an hour it'll be
Oh, that's really
premiering.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. No, I saw that. Like, I think it's a good idea that like you like establish your brand because that's like what the whole reason you're doing this podcast, right? It was like establish your own brand, and like now that that's established, now you can have like these really cool guests on and like kind of
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah, it's so funny. I know what you mean. I hate the word like brand. It's such a like buzzword now. Like it's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I wanted to establish like my voice, like my personal voice, I guess. But Yeah, everything's a brand now, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
for
how it
real.
is, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about music.
Yeah,
Because I've been in the music industry for a couple of years now, and I make like
cool.
house music and stuff. And I got my first song coming out on a label in January. Um,
Nice.
how did you? Well, I guess we could do like music and comedy. How did?
Sure.
Which one did you do first?
Music for sure. But one could argue that I've been doing both my entire life. I just didn't know.
Right.
I mean, I dropped out of high school before I could get into like the drama program, or I had no idea. I thought comedy was impossible. Like I would, because I loved like the greats, and so I thought like you had to be special like to do it. I was like I could never do that. And so I was lucky enough to be surrounded by a bunch of musicians in middle school and high school, started playing in bands. So that was supposed to be my like career path, it was like that was the trajectory, was to be like either a drummer or a singer in a punk band, and I did both quite a bit. And yeah, and then later on in my life I got into theater. I met a guy who worked backstage on a play I was doing. He worked at a place called Casa 101 in Boyle Heights, and he told me that they were doing these improv classes that were donation based or free. Basically the teacher had gone to Second City, to Groundlings, to UCB, and had saved all his notes and was teaching like a free class in the neighborhood for people who wanted to do improv. And so through that, I realized that things I said actually made people laugh. And I was like, maybe this is possible. Started listening to podcasts about comedy, started writing for like 3 months. And then I went to my first open mic and did like okay, and was able to and then I just like jumped on the horse and fucking went for it. I didn't want to play music like ever again, to be honest.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, I was like disillusioned by being in a band, because you got 5 people, you gotta wrangle these cats. It's like I joke about it. I say that I was always like the most dedicated member of every band that I was in, but like the band would probably, say probably not. They'd be like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about? You didn't whatever." But so what I liked about stand up too was like you could just show up by yourself and like do a mic. I like, you don't have to wait for you don't like go on in 10 minutes and your bass player is 30 minutes away and you're fucking sweating like, whatever. But yeah.
I mean, I kind of like always like, I guess to give a little background, like I had a vacation house in San Diego and I grew up around like this band called Pierce the Veil. And like for the
Okay, yeah, I know
longest
that.
time, I wanted to like be in a band and like, but I had no musical, like I had the typical like Asian dad, like made me play fucking piano when I was a kid. And like, I was just so turned off to it because I was like forced to do it. And
Dude,
then,
that's everybody's piano story. Like everyone I know
right.
that learned piano as a kid, they never enjoyed it. It was like so stressful, and I've watched it with friends of mine.
I think if I'd approached it like on my own, I would have
Hmm.
been like okay, now how like I'm not feeling forced to do this.
Are you happy now that you know it
Yeah,
at least? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Piano is
definitely.
such a crazy. I'm just like learning. I mean, I have like a little mini one, but it's like beyond me, dude.
I wish I would have put more time into it though. But like I always wanted to be in a band, and like it's a lot to like try and get somebody else to like do one thing and then somebody else to do the other thing, and like
For sure.
I feel like as like a I feel like a DJ is such like a looked down upon thing to be, but like
It
it
depends.
depends on all my like I'm on my own. You know what I mean? Like it's all
Hmm.
like self reliance. Like I'm responsible for showing up to gigs. I'm responsible for putting in 40 hours a week into making music, and like
Yeah.
I like that better because I don't have to rely on anybody else. I
Yeah,
guess.
you know what's crazy about that is like if you're truly pursuing this alone thing, it's like when it's bad, it's fucking all your fault. And but then the best part is like when it's good and it's all your fault. You get to like
Take
take
all the
that
glory.
credit.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love a lot of like hip hop music. I definitely respect like the term DJ. I know that now it's like become such a, Bill Burr had a joke one time. He's saying like you're a record player. Uh, but it's now I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. And I don't know a lot about like house music. That's probably one of the things I know the least about. I know that um like Chicago, there's different sorts of house. Like I know like Chicago house music was like is very different from like we know as like house music now.
But like that's where it all started.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't it's one of those things where like it all to me, to the uneducated person, it all sounds this like similar, but I thought the same thing about like my dad's music growing up, like all the Mexican stuff or like reggae music. Like a lot of people think that sounds the same, but once you like get into like the details, you know that it's this whole other thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Punk sounds the same to a lot of people.
So how long have you been in the Baby Boys?
Damn, that's a great question. I wish I could look this up. Let's see. I want to see. Hold on YouTube. I have a thing of our first show. Let me see. Baby Boys. Honestly, I have no idea. I started comedy in 2011, and I probably met Pat in like 2012. Um, so I want to say like 2013. I really want to like look this up. Sorry, I should know these fucking things.
No, no, it's all good.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I'll keep looking. But yeah, a while now. So what 2020? I would say at least like
6, 7 years.
5, 6 years, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
me
how
and
long?
Pat are really the only like original like members that have been there since the
Oh
beginning.
wow. How long have you been with Kill Tony? Like 5 years, also.
I want to say yeah, about 4.5, 5. So I was already playing with Pat maybe like a year or two before that, like a year and a half before Kill Tony. So that's just how it all happened. It's like a, for lack of a better word, like a incestuous sort of mishmash of friends and people.
I was gonna ask like how did that like come about? How did you land that
The
spot
Kill
on?
Tony thing.
Yeah.
So I used to just see Pat at open mics all the time, and at this time I was like totally didn't want to play music anymore. But I would see him, and he did guitar comedy. But like he was one of the guys that was like really good. I even guitar comedy has the same connotation as like DJ or whatever. The same people go like, oh, he's a guitar comic, whatever. But Pat was like on this other level, and like, you know, um, I remember people would come inside to watch him at open mics and stuff, and I would see his music, and I went up to him one time. I was like, "Hey, man, I like hear drums to your music. If you ever want to record, or if you ever need a drummer, like hit me up." I gave him my number, and then I think it was like a year to the day, like an entire year passed, and then I get a call like on a Sunday morning or something, and he's like, "Hey, it's Pat. I wanna," and I would see him at mics all the time, but we just talk comedy. Um, he's like, we have a rehearsal time at like noon or 1. Do you want to come down and like jam with us?" And I was like, fuck yeah. I live like, they picked a studio that was like right near my house. So I went over there and I jammed, not knowing it was kind of like an audition, like whatever. And at the end of the thing, they like asked me to join the band, and I was like, hell yeah. And then I think I can't remember if we recorded or if we played shows first. I think we played shows first, and then we started recording. And Pat was sort of already in the world, like people knew him. So we got this college humor. He did Last Comic Standing, Pat.
Okay.
He played a song called Mama that was like kind of got a little bit of stuff from them. No, the Facebook song. Yeah, Facebook stalking. So we got a music video for the Facebook stalking thing, and then we did a Comedy Central video on Mother's Day for Mama, and yeah, and then we shot a couple like independent things after that. But um, yeah.
So if you could
Oh,
open, oh, go ahead.
were you asking me about Kill Tony? That's what you asked. So
Yeah, yeah,
started.
yeah.
Sorry. So I started playing with Pat, and then one night, this is how I remember it. It could be completely different from other people. It's all been I've told it a million times. I may be changing things, but this is how I remember this happening. Um, there's a show called Roast Battle at the Comedy Store. Pat was doing like development spots there, and he was playing songs before the roast battles. One night he goes up and like everyone's there. Like I think like Rogan's there, Brian, Tony, and other people, and he kills. Like he fucking has this set that's everyone's dying laughing. I mean, Rogan and Brian talked about it like that week on the show. Um, Somehow he gets a CD to Tony. Tony listens to it and calls Pat, or somehow sees him and tells him he has a show called Kill Tony. He wants to know if he wants to be the band leader. Pat gets to the show. Pat starts telling me, yo, you got to come to the Comedy Store. You got to hang out. I didn't have a driver's license at the time. So, like, he would pick me up and I would roll with him. I would throw my name in the bucket and just kind of hang out and drink beers while the show was happening. I got on once or twice before I was even a part of the show, and then another time when I was the drummer and I moved from the drum set to go do comedy, and then and that's it. Once I got there, I tell people like I absolutely loved it, and I was like, dude, I'm never leaving. I like made it a thing where I was ready to do whatever it took to be in that room every Monday. And so I just sort of, you know, after my first set that I did on it comedy wise, I talked to Tony outside and he was like, "Hey, every time you're here, if you see me, I want you to say hi." And so I did that. I made sure I did it every single time. And I was there for some other things. I played drums for some other friends in the belly, and I saw him, and he's like, "What's up?" And just got to know him, and that was it. That was it. I fucking threw my. I tell people I like put my claws in it, dude. I didn't want to leave.
I mean, that's kind of got like what you have to do. And
For
the
sure.
one with Jesse, I mean, you're saying like if you walk around like you know what you're doing, like no one's ever gonna question that. And honestly,
Yeah,
I've experienced that too,
for
and like
sure.
so it's a real thing. But I guess like so, do you have any tips for like aspiring musicians or comics or I guess anybody like pursuing any like creative outlet, even like a podcast or something?
Damn. I mean, that's pretty broad. I think I would
Or anything?
say
Right?
I'd say like find what it is. Okay, go ahead. Maybe it'll clarify my answer. What are you gonna
Is
say?
there anything that you wish you knew going into music, comedy, or like starting a podcast?
Oh man. Um
I know these are like super layered
no, no,
questions that
no.
I just
They're good, man. I just want to like I want to give the answer that you deserve for this. I so two things. So first thing the advice I would give is like and everybody knows this, it's like and also when people say work hard, you hear that all the time, but it doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, of course I work. Like, what does that mean? Like, do I? Because in comedy, it's weird. Like working might even just mean like going to the comedy store on a Monday and being friendly to hanging out. You know, like it's such an esoteric fucking thing. Like, I mean, if it's stand up, I mean, whatever it is, I'll make that broad statement and say like work really hard. Um, what sometimes you don't realize is that it doesn't feel like work, dude. Like the first 3 years of Kill Tony, it was fucking hard. I mean, I was stressing all the time trying to get costumes, trying to with money I didn't really have at the time, trying to make a thing happen with not much, and all the years just go by. And now that I sit here and I look back and I'm like, damn, I worked really fucking hard for that. But like when I was in it, it didn't it was hard, but it didn't the word work didn't click in my head. Like sometimes I don't know, when you find something you really want, it's hard, but it's different.
it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel like work. It feels like stress, like when you're in it. Like that's like a that's probably the best way to put it. It feels like panic attacks. It feels like stress. It feels like not having enough time. And then later on you go, oh, that's what the work was like extending your like spreading yourself almost too thin, but doing enough things to cover your ass, the good thing now about podcasts is like there isn't anything really that I wish I had known, because I kind of you hear it all the time now. We have all these people talking about podcasts all the time. One thing I've learned just being in it is consistency is what I've heard is the real secret to success. Is like people want something that they can trust, that's going to be there every week and this and that. And I struggle with that now myself with my own thing. But um something I wish I knew, I mean, something I wish other people would know is like be nice to people just because just because you fucking you're a, I don't know, be nice. Stop trying to network. I'm so sick of like the term networking or like that thing. Like you can tell, dude, some of these people, man, you talk to them and it's like they're just talking to you because they like want something from you, not
Yeah.
because and then I meet people who are like maybe um I don't know, they're not doing as many things as they can, but they're super sweet, and I'll sit and I'll always like chat, at the store. Like I'll go table to table and fucking talk to everybody. And just because I'm interested in people and I want to know, and like, when all this shit falls away, dude, if industry of comedy, if everything falls to shit, like I would hope in the future to fucking have a couch to sleep on or something. It's like try to fucking check yourself and be kind is something that I don't think people talk enough about. And yeah, I don't know, but I'm also just fucking yelling at this point.
No, but I mean like a lot of that toxicity, like you can see right through that. And like honestly, again, like if everything fell through and fell to shit, like all you guys really have at the end of like the day is like your personality and like how you
Yeah,
are as a person. And I think that's super important. Like being kind to everybody you possibly can, and like even if you don't get anything out of it, like you shouldn't expect anything out of it. Like it should just be because you want to be a good person.
yeah, and that's a weird one too um because just honestly our goal is to end up somewhere where we're financially um able to like do what we love. So it's a weird mix of like, but I don't ever want success on the back of somebody else, like on their neck. I'm not gonna stand on someone's neck to like make it. Like,
Right.
there were times in my life where maybe I was willing to do whatever it took to do it, but I don't want to sell my soul for fucking rock. I don't want to sell my soul for rock and roll. I just want to fucking I want to give my soul. I want to give it away, but I don't want to sell it for success, man. I don't want to fuck anybody over to make it, because that
Yeah.
shit's not real, man. That's like false success. Then you make it and you can't sleep at night because of the shit that you did. And I'm not saying I've never like taken advantage of like an opportunity or tried to like get sneak my way into things, but I hope that for the most part I'm doing it in like an honorable way.
But you're not really
So that
stepping on anybody's toes that way. Like I mean, you have to capitalize on opportunities because you don't know if you're going to get those again. But like,
yeah.
you don't want to, put somebody else down so you can succeed.
For sure. I mean, when
But
Pat asked Jeremiah to be on Kill Tony, I was in the room when he asked him, and the first thing Jeremiah was saying, like, "Are you sure? I don't want to step on your toes." And Pat was like, "No, man, I want you guys here." And it was like, boom, that was it. So like, and Jeremiah is really good about that, like calling people to make sure like this thing isn't gonna whatever, and um, but then again, that's a hard one. I mean, so that goes back to the friendship thing. Is like, it's hard to know when you say capitalize on those opportunities. The only thing that's going to let you know if it's the right move is you have your close friends, you reach out to them, you ask them what they think, and you sort of try to make an educated choice about it. But it's hard, dude. That's the work, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, the work is those stressful moments where you're sweating because you don't know if you're gonna get this thing or whatever. And then, honestly, a big dose of I don't give a fuck helps. As far as like, I don't care if I get it or not. Like, I've heard of people going into auditions when they don't give a fuck and they nail it, because if you care too much, you're so precious about it that you end up stepping on your words or you fuck up or something.
right,
And I'm somebody who cares too much about dumb shit, so I'm gonna panic no matter what. But there are certain times in my life where I'm like, you know what, I don't give a fuck. Like, who cares? I'm here to have fun. We're gonna have fun. Have fun. Don't step on anybody's fucking neck to make it. And just fucking show up, dude. Honestly, a big part of it is just showing up, man. I showed up every Monday. I've honestly think in my entire career on Kill Tony, I've missed maybe almost, I think, none of the shows at the store. Only a couple of road shows, and then a couple of shows that we did at Better Box during Corona because shit got crazy and we needed our mental space. But
right.
that's it. Yeah, show up. But Jay Leno said this one thing I heard one time, where he showed up to line up at an open mic. The line was long, and the person in front of him was like, "Fuck this! I don't want to wait." They got out of line, and just by him being there and not quitting, he stepped up into their spot. So now he moved up, and that was it. He just showed up. A guy said it really funny. He's like, "Don't quit and don't kill yourself. And if you're there, something will happen, whatever it is. And if it
Right.
doesn't, I mean, whatever. You figure that out later." I also try to not, and this is hard, to not connect myself to my accomplishments, because once those accomplishments go away, who the fuck am I then? So that's been my struggle this past year, has been trying to learn who I am and like what I want, so that if it all goes away, I'm okay being like a greeter at Walmart. I'll be the best greeter at Walmart, or I'll be happy with that. It won't completely lead me to the depths of like depression because I lost fame or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's fucking, that's that spiritual mental journey that I try to go on every now and then, but I'm also scared of going super deep with it because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna find.
Well, talking about mental health, like, I mean, as a musician and a comic and like somebody who is like suffering, I guess, from this like pandemic as far as like entertainment industry goes, like, what are your thoughts and like how are you staying, I guess, as sane as possible with these times?
It's a struggle, dude. That's another thing I've heard is like somebody said it's like there's no glamorous cure for mental health. It's like a plant. You got to water the plant. Some weeks I don't fucking water it, and then I feel the repercussions. Some nights I don't water it, and I'm fucked, you know. Uh I don't know. I was meditating for a bit. I need to get back on that. That's a really good one. Sleep, I'm noticing, is like so fucking important to my well-being. Um, Being grateful and uh helping other people, man. Those are the things I try to do. I don't always do it, and I end up in a fucking funk. You know, yesterday I woke up super sad because uh there's just this thing. I went to the store Monday nights. Some of my nights at the store are almost too fun, where the next day I just sink super low, like really low. And you throw um alcohol into that, you throw whatever, smoking weed, everything, like you have these chemical reactions, and then plus the depression, you have these times where you get real fucking sad. So I've noticed lately that I'm trying more to monitor my high highs and my low lows and make sure that I'm not, because I almost treat emotions like a drug sometimes, where like happiness, like I want that fucking boost and I can get it from being at the store, being around my good friends, like cuz I'm just like taking it in. It's a serotonin burst, dude. Like for real. I mean, um and the other night what I noticed was like I used to think it was like drinking that made me sad the next day, and I'm sure it has something to do with it, but I think what it is sometimes drinking around a lot of people I don't really know super well, because I get chatty. Like I'll be, oh dude, you're from fucking, wow, cool, you're from Whittier or you're from here. Oh, dope, let's talk, whatever. And then the next day I go, oh man, like what was I doing? I'm like talking, I don't even know these people. I'm like spilling my guts to them. So um I think something I learned now is like I need to maybe guard my heart a little bit more, give it to the people that I know and love for years, that um that have, we've proved this mutual friendship, but maybe sort of everybody doesn't need to know everything all the time, and I need
Right.
to remember that. So um just maybe guarding my heart and my thoughts a little bit more, maybe leaving a little earlier in the night. When the first time that I got to go feed the meter, maybe just get in your car and go home. Nothing bad ever happens from hanging out not late. It's like
Yeah.
and nothing bad really happens. Like I just get so excited to be there that the next day is never going to live up to that. And so but like a fucking idiot, it's like every time I'm there, it's like you get sucked up in the magic of the place, man. And it's weird. It'll reflect and intensify whatever you're going through. That
I'm just
building
starting to
is crazy.
I'm just starting to feel those like high highs and low lows. And like when I first started, I had like a couple like already established artists that were willing to help me out, and they're like, you got to be ready for like when you start playing shows, you're gonna feel like so like almost like untouchable, and then
Oh, it's
that
a
next
drug, dude.
morning you're
Yeah.
like, what
Yep.
the fuck am I doing with my life?
That's exactly what it feels like, dude. And it's good. I mean, you didn't say that you felt that way, but like, yeah, it's almost that untouchable, almost this like, but if and I've worked so many years to get to that I like want to like relish in it, but it's like that fucking what's fucking homeboy that flew too close to the sun with the waxed wings, what is it fucking.
Icarus,
Yeah,
Icarus,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's like that. It's like, you know say the Comedy Store is the sun, like like I said, don't fly too close for too long. You want to get out of there,
You're gonna
but
burn up.
yeah, but that's just a balance. I guess I'm just trying to figure out balance right now in life, whatever that is. So I don't know, you know,
I know these
but
were some pretty heavy questions. I'm
I love it.
sorry.
I'll tell you what, I do a lot of interviews with people I don't know, and I'm always like, oh, let's see what the fuck this is about. But maybe it's just the mood I'm in. I mean, I slept good last night. I'm feeling good today. I had coffee. But sometimes something about whoever the person is makes me want to. I don't know. I'm having fun right now. I'm enjoying this. But
That's
go.
awesome. I
Yeah, yeah.
really appreciate that. So going back to Kill Tony, if out of all the characters you've done, who do you think, or which character do you think is your favorite?
Damn.
I know this is.
Honestly, one of my favorite looking ones was Joaquin Watkins that I just did like this Monday was. I don't know if you saw that. I was Jeremiah's like cousin, Mexican cousin, but I had like a mullet, like a dark black. I had a mustache, like my dad's like fucking like ranch hat and like his jacket and like a sarape. It was like one of the coolest like looking. Like I looked at myself and I was like, oh, this is like a character. um Jolina's great because I to be able to do that in different countries like I've done it is like taking this like LA centric Chicano like cholo culture and like doing this character in Ireland or in London, um and having people like already know that felt really really good. um I like doing the feminist. I like doing a lot of them. Bill Billingsley's fun, but that's a dangerous one because like nobody told the guy he could just act. He doesn't have to be a drunk. Um, so he's a method guy. Trying to think. Um, it's weird. More than characters, I think I remember like moments. So uh because I can find those moments with anything. Because I mean, people have criticized me about it in the past, where Jeremiah will stay in character the whole time. I kind of just I keep it as like a base to touch back to, and sometimes I'll drop the accent. I'll go back because I'm not an actor or whatever. Like I don't, and so um, let me think. If I really enjoyed doing the Mormons. That was fun. That was a really fun show. But yeah, it's really hard to I more remember like moments or jokes that I made and stuff like that I remember.
I guess this is like a two-part question.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite? I guess was what we're talking about, like favorite moments on Kill Tony at the store,
Hmm.
and I guess also on the road too.
Yeah. Um, Favorite moments. I'll just go with whatever immediately comes to me. You know, one of the most like important moments was like maybe the first time I really started like speaking up to talking to the mic. There's like a YouTube video that's called like The Birth of Joelberg. Um, that dude with the dreads, like the blonde white dude with the dreads that later inspired like the rope snake character. He's being interviewed and he said he was like in trouble with the cops or something, and he was like a surfer dude, and I was like, um, is it hard to run from the law in flip flops? I asked him, and I was like, that was a good one, and like, and like Moshe Kasher was the guest, and I remember him like standing up and like pointing at me, and I really like Moshe. Like anytime he's a guest, he probably doesn't even remember, but like one time I was like a waiter, and I was having like a hot show where I was like doing well, and he was saying like, you're not going to be a waiter for very long, and I was like, oh, that feels really good. So I remember that. I really liked when Whitney Cummings was on the show, like when I was Jolena, because Jeremiah wasn't there, and anytime he's not there, it's a little stressful because I have to sort of like be his position and pick up the slack, and it
Right.
got nerve-wracking sometimes. But she was so cool, and it was a really fun show. We had William join us in the band, and Uh, I mean, the first drum off I ever had, because like Rogan and Russell Peters were the guests, and I had no idea anything like that was even gonna be a thing. I was ready to get out of there. It was the last guest. I hadn't slept for shit, like, uh, and whatever. And I think all that led into the craziness of me like taking my clothes off and stuff, like sleep deprivation, Pabst Blue Ribbon, and fear. Like I was like, I don't know. Really trying to claim my turf or whatever at the moment. One of my favorite, like, I mean, this was cool. Well, I will talk road stuff, but uh, battling Isaias from Black Flag was great because now we're buddies. Like, it's fucking awesome.
That was really cool to see.
Yeah, and he's such a cool dude, man. Having the Ludwig guys come to LA and see us. My favorite moments. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's man, there's been so many, man. The drum offs. I'm trying to think. I had one in my head, and uh, Donnell said he was in the Air Force, and I said Air Force Ones don't count. That was like,
Yeah.
that was great. Anytime I have like a working comedian tell me that it was a good joke, I'm happy. Eric Griffin one time was like, I'm legit impressed with you tonight. Like those things mean the world to me. Yeah, it makes you. There's not a lot of touch not a lot of benchmarks in this business. If you're listening to the audio, I did the quotes because I hate the business, but
The
it is.
business,
But
yeah.
there's not a lot of, in comedy. It's like you struggle just forever. You don't reach a level, get a medal or a stripe on your belt, and then now you're a 2-stripe white belt, whatever. It's like, so you take what you can get. The road, I would say, I had a drum off in Australia and Sydney that I like did a backflip, and then I did a fucking they do these things called shoeies where you like drink a beer out of a
Beer out of a
shoe. I did
shoe.
one of those. And just meeting Australian fans was great. Ireland was awesome, man. Like uh New York has always been really fucking dope because I remember the first time I went to New York was for this theater award that I got, and um I called my mom like the morning I was gonna leave, like sad. I was like, I didn't see the Statue of Liberty. I don't know if I'll ever come back here. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get back to New York. And she's like, you will. And then luckily, like years later, I got to go like a bunch of times, with the show and do the Gramercy and do Skankfest. And um that was another thing that it's funny because uh I did the naked roast battle. Like I judged it, and that was a weird one. Like it went from, and this is like the way, like I just felt like I had bumped up another sort of notch because people, that was like the hottest show that week. The room was sold out, and I did relatively well. Like I thought I was pretty funny on it, and as good as you, whatever. That sounds so shitty. I hate that I have to qualify when I'm like, I thought I was pretty funny on it. Whatever. I thought I did as good as I could have, and so that was fun. I feel like I got my name out there a little bit more, like on the East Coast, and trying to think, man. All these tours they've all been really fun for one reason or the other. I remember we drove from Canada to Seattle once, um, and I was like really tired. I remember sleeping in the back of the car on our drive, and like Tony was playing like the Cranberries. And you're driving through this beautiful like greenery, man, like from Canada to Seattle, and I just remember like this really like nice moment of the drive, like being half asleep and like hearing that music in my head. And like that's another just sort of, I mean, my buddy Yoni, who brings us barbecue every time we go to Texas, it's awesome. I mean, we got to skate a private session at a skate park in Minnesota because my friend Todd is like an artist and for skateboard stuff, and he let us come in after hours, and all the shit that people hit us up for, seeing the koalas in Australia. Me and Jeremiah got to go to Bondi Beach, all that. It's all good. You just gotta, all of it is good, man. Just the opportunity to travel for comedy and have people know your
Right.
name and be happy that you're in their city I'll never forget that stuff, man.
Speaking about Canada, I drove from Alaska through Canada down to Montana, and like I will never forget how beautiful that drive was. It
Oh
just
man,
feels
what time of
so
year was that? Because that seems brutal if it's
that
in the
oh it was
winter.
off. No, it was. I lived there for about 2 months, and then I helped some family move down from Alaska to Montana, and they had a bunch of that they had their whole livelihood there, and so
Yeah,
we drove it through Canada, and I think it was in like July. It was like the end of July, so it was totally fine. But like
cool.
it's just so weird seeing like moose and like bears just on the fucking side of the road, and it's so
Jesus.
gorgeous. Like compared to like, I mean, there's like plenty of like beautiful coast drives you can do, like PCH or
Yeah, I think it's just different. It's
it's
all
just
good. It's
different.
just different. Yeah. Hell
But
yeah.
yeah, I actually, so I want to move on to some of the questions that I got on that poll.
Cool.
Um,
Hell yeah.
there was a time, wasn't there a couple times where someone tried to fight you on Kill Tony?
There's been a few people that have like taken like stabs at me. Yeah, some guy made like some comment. He's like, something about like if you were to talk to me like that on the street or something, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay, like
That's
something like
actually who
that.
I was talking about.
Okay.
That
Yeah. He was
Vento
like,
guy.
yeah, if you talk to me on the street, like whatever. And I was like,
He's like, I know some people, and you're like,
yeah,
it's fucking LA. Everybody knows people.
I was like, I know some people too, man. Whatever, you ain't special. I said whatever. Like that's that untouchable shit where it's almost stupid, but I'm like, I'm on stage, I'm on camera. Also, if this fool like hits me, it's gonna be awesome because well, not awesome, but
Yeah.
it's like it'll be a fucking thing, you know. I'll
Right.
get famous. He'll make me famous. and I'll make him famous. But whatever. I don't know what the fuck that means. But so I get a little bit of like that bravery, but it's like, I mean, whatever. I'll pick up a cymbal stand if I have to, and fucking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Allegedly, but
Allegedly.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's that. I mean, I always worry. Most of the time when people get aggressive after the show, we'll talk. I'll be like, "What's up, man?" Like I'll go up to them. A lot of time they feel attacked too, so they're you know, those lights are brighter than you think they are. Like when you're not used to being up there and people get up there, that's why people forget everything. Cause like we have the privilege of that being our office every week. So I've been there, man. I sit there every week. So like when people get up there, they're like, oh fuck. And then they feel attacked. And that's when people sort of revert to that shit.
I mean, it takes a lot of courage. Like, I mean, like I
Yeah, it
remember the
does.
first time
Or
I played a
stupidity.
show, or stupidity. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean, I played a show to like a room of like 50 people, but those like being up there with like the visuals and the lights, I
Yeah.
like froze. I was like, fuck, like it's 50
That's a good
people,
amount of
but
people, man. For a comedy show, for me, I'm lucky to have a room of 5 in the beginning. It's like 50 is pretty damn good. If
but
they're
I don't.
dancing,
Yeah, but I don't think I could do like I always tell myself like when I first saw Kill Tony, I was like, I'm gonna go up there, I'm gonna do it one day. But honestly,
hmm
I like, I'm such an extrovert and I love talking to people and like I majored in like marketing and stuff, and I can give speeches all day and talk to people that I don't know, but
hmm
it's different being on a stage, like as I'm sure you can attest to, like
for sure.
seeing all those
It's also
people that you.
like I tell people who are like, oh, I want to try, I want to try. I'm like, not everybody has to, like fucking people that want to try comedy, like they're not gonna do it. That's not something like, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying I hear that a lot. Like,
Right? No,
I want
yeah,
to try this, I want to try that. So I guess I bring it up to like, so you don't feel like you failed or you missed out on something. It's like not everybody has to. It looks fun, so people want to, but you don't have to. It's okay
right,
to not do it.
right. Another question was,
I
can
feel
you
like I'm
do?
blown out in this light. Yeah, whatever. Who
um,
gives a shit?
can you do any celebrity impressions, even
Oh
bad
my god.
ones?
No, I mean whatever. I was fucking celebrity impressions. Not really. I mean everybody's got a Trump, right? Like, oh, it's great. It's the best. Kill Tony. Oh, it's such a great show. It's the best show. Whatever. That's it. Yeah, I don't really fuck with
That's
impressions.
solid. Yeah, that's and then I guess this was like a more serious one. Future goals, as far as like anything. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
music, comedy.
I've been recording a lot of music. I hope to like get over my sort of like insecurity about that and put more of it out. Uh I would love to be able to like financially sustain myself with comedy or art or music and be able to just keep creating stuff. Honestly, what was the question again? Like, what's the
Just
actual?
it was
Oh,
just future
future
goals.
goals to be happy and live as peaceful a life as I can. That's my future goal, man.
That's super commendable because
Yeah,
I feel like
thank
that's
you.
what everybody like
I
truly.
know, I know. It's so hard. That's like the hardest thing.
It
I don't
sounds
know.
so simple, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not. And then one of my friends asked if I was on Kill Tony to give me a classic Joelberg roast.
Oh my God, hilarious. Well, I mean, Jesus, you look like you work as a target at a BB gun range, and it looks like you got your hat from Goofy. Anyway,
That
I
was
don't
that
know.
was that was fucking solid, dude. That was
You look like if Buddha became like a hipster. I don't know.
that was fucking gold. Is there
You look
anything
like
else?
no, I don't know.
Okay.
No. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? I had a couple other topics lined up. I mean, how are you doing on time here?
Sure, you're good. I gotta be done at 5, so I got like 12 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so whatever you want.
It was just super loaded and dark. Would you
Oh.
rather know when you're gonna die and how you're gonna die, or would you rather not know?
Um, I'd rather not know.
Both of
With
them?
death. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because then I would never leave my house. It's better to just
Yeah.
fucking you never do anything.
Just live your
I don't know.
life and
Yeah, I'd rather just like live it and then because then at least I have community with that because we all don't know. The second you know, you separate yourself and then sometimes separating yourself is not always the best thing. That there are things that I've wanted the answers to that I get and then I'm like I wish I never knew that.
yeah.
So, it's like watching a fucking like beheading video or something on YouTube, or
You
you see
wish you
some
just hadn't seen it.
yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
but you can never scrub your mind from that sort
Yeah.
of shit. But
That's some
yeah,
unseeable shit. Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
think
I know that
that's
was
a
like kind of a dark way to to end it, but
nah, whatever. No, it's good. It's an interesting question. I mean, like, you know, I don't know. It's wild. Yeah.
so awesome. Thank you again for coming on. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter at Mostly Sorry, and
Hmm.
your the Mostly Sorry podcast. Is there
Yeah,
anything
that's
else you
good.
want to add?
No, fucking, I don't know. Thanks to everybody if you're listening. If you give a shit about us, it's or and anything that I'm doing, it's awesome. It means a lot. And that's it. Love each other and fucking be grateful for the things you have. And it's a struggle for everybody. And I think that a lot of times when shit gets hard or you get sad or anything like that, that one of the best things that you can hear is that that there's a lot of other people that are going through it, so you're not alone. And this was fun, man. Thank you. I had a good time. I feel like it sort of went by quickly, and I hope that I did well.
Yeah, no, you, you definitely did. But thank you again.